is a difficult video to make, guys, and I'm a little bit not angry or sad or anything. I'm just a little bit worried about the whole thing. Not in the sense of like, oh, this is the end of the world, but I'm worried about how people are perceiving all of the advancements that we're seeing in AI. So let's quickly talk about it. As you guys know, the internet got broken last week thanks to ChatGPT introducing image generation and people going crazy with the freaking Studio Ghibli style AI images, right? This was a fun trend. I'm not gonna lie. I actually enjoyed it. Some of my family members, some of my close friends, they were doing all of this like memes and some of the famous pictures that they had. It was fun, but it was just a trend, right? I dare you to go right now to socials and see how many people are actually continuously doing this, and a very, very few percentage of all of the massive amount of people who were doing this last week are actually doing it today. But I do have a big issue with this thing, and I'm gonna call this the perception of effort, right? Unfortunately, even though AI has a lot of cool things, and I will talk about some of them in this video, there's one thing that I feel is very, very damaging, and that's the fact that it's changing how we perceive the effort and the value of things as they get created, right? Because back in the day, like just think about this 10 years ago. If someone had done this 10 years ago when AI was not present, we would all be praising that artist for his, I don't know, like the attention to detail, the coloring, the lines, everything's like, oh, dude, you did a great job, right? Like this is an amazing piece of fan art. And we will all be praising that artist. Nowadays, everyone can do it, but that doesn't mean that everyone can do it, right? Everyone can do a prompt and ask ChatGPT to generate this kind of images, but give them pen and paper, a couple of pencils, and tell them to do the exact same thing by hand without a computer. Not everyone's going to be able to do it. So my problem with AI is now it changes the perception in our heads of how simple some things are to make and how much value they have. Meaning, an image like this, again, 10 years ago, I would have paid $300 to get someone to do a concept art or like a commission for me in this particular style. Nowadays, should I? Would I? Would you? Those are important questions because it brings it, or it sort of like brings the floor down for everyone to be able to produce this kind of things. And I was talking to a friend of mine and he's like, oh, this is the end for anyone that was doing Studio Ghibli commissions, like art commissions, right? And I told him, you know what? Yeah, it is. Like if all your like, let's say persona online was, hey, I do Studio Ghibli style commissions for your wedding, for your parties, for your friends, and that's like my niche. This, I'm sorry, it did like screw you over completely. It's over. Like people might not hire you unless you offer something that's a little bit more original, or unless you can offer something that gives you a little bit of a different twist. But unfortunately, this is it. Like this brought the floor all the way down so that anyone can produce this kind of images. Now, one thing about AI that we haven't mentioned too much is the fact that we are not the only industry that's being affected by this. Ask any of your friends who are programmers, writers, doctors, lawyers, engineers. People now think it's easy to do all of this kind of things. Like, why would I need to go to the doctor if I can just ask ChatGPT for my symptoms? Why do I need to learn how to write a book when ChatGPT can just produce a book? I just tell him what I want and I'm going to get the full book. Yeah, but it's going to be crap. You might get a wrong diagnosis and die. You might get a bad contract written by the like artificial lawyer and get some laws wrong and you're gonna get like screwed over later on in the deal, right? So unfortunately, we think things are too simple or too easy with these elements. We think, oh, now everyone can do everything. Again, the democratization of things. And yes, but no. There are tools, not replacements. And at the end of the day, you still need someone who can be able to see what the tool is doing and tell you, hey, this thing is wrong. We need to fix this. This is a bad advice or this is a bad recommendation. We might want to do this instead based on this other experiences, right? So don't think that we're the only ones being affected by AI. Every single career, every single thing out there is getting affected. And this is not the first time that it has happened in history. Back in the day, right, the Industrial Revolution, we know that a lot of jobs got changed and replaced by machines. Now, a lot of manufacturing jobs are being replaced by robots. And there's a lot of things that humans cannot do. Like, for instance, if you want to create like the microprocessors for our phones and our computers, a human cannot go in there and place all of the chips. You need machines to do that. So it's not wrong to see that there's new tools, such as AI, that could potentially allow us to unlock new things. But if we're just left with this freaking things, just the basic rehashing and like vomiting the exact same things over and over again, this is the wrong way, in my opinion, to be using AI to further or to push things that we can do as artists. Now, I don't think that's necessarily the worst thing in the world, and I'm gonna tell you why. If you are a young kid, let's imagine you're like 10 years old, and you're discovering all of these tools and how amazing it is to create all of these different elements, this could potentially be sort of like the door that opens to you learning about the actual art world, let's say, or about the effort-driven art world, where you can actually create something that's unique from everyone else. So if someone wants to learn how to draw in anime style or Studio Ghibli style to eventually work at Studio Ghibli, they might need to do the whole thing. Like, you're not gonna be able to skip step, guys. This is not how it works. Just because you can do prompts, in imagining you could get like a potential like interview and you show all of the prompts, what are you gonna do once you're in there? Ask someone to help you and draw the picture beforehand before you throw in a filter with ChatGPT? Of course not. Studio Ghibli will continue to do their stuff in their way with their processes and their techniques. Now, this doesn't mean that that's gonna be the same thing everywhere. Like, there will be studios. There are studios today that completely cut out their concept art department and they're now doing everything with prompts. Do I agree with that? No. Do I understand why they're doing it? Yes. Because unfortunately, due to how capitalism works, how the competition works, sometimes that's the decisions that they think are going to be the best decisions. But here's the catch. We, as the consumers, need to be the ones that decide, hey, this is a product or this is something that I do want to consume, and this is a product that I do not want to consume. I'm going to give you a perfect example. And this is another one that's big right now. Pokemon cards, right? Everyone loves Pokemon cards nowadays. They're like chasing this like highs with the hits and everything, trying to get like the most like I don't know, expensive card and selling it. I'm not gonna talk about the politics of Pokemon cards, but imagine if the Pokemon company announced that their next set is gonna be completely AI created. Do you think people are gonna value the artworks and the cards in the same way? Some people might, but I guarantee you that a big chunk of the market will not. And big companies will notice that. Imagine, for instance, that the Studio Ghibli says, hey, our next movie, we're going to record it with real actors, and then we're just going to throw a filter on top and make it look like our movies. Do you think it's going to have the same level of like epicness that their current films do? I don't think so. So even though we have tools that make it easier for us to do certain things, doesn't necessarily mean that that's just going to solve our situation. Let me give you a perfect example right now, an actual example with 3D. Remember this little guy we were doing the other day on the stream? We went through the whole process. The video is here on the channel in case you want to watch it. Well, right now, as you can see in all of these folders right here, I got the fish. So what I can do, and they added this not too long ago, like a couple of weeks ago, I can just throw in now a stylization filter that's going to give me this sort of like hand-painted style look, right? I'm going to change this to hand-painted, for instance, and then I'm going to go brush strokes. I'm going to increase the amount of brush strokes, and there we go. That's it. I could say, hey, now I hand-painted this character and he's ready to be in a World of Warcraft game or in a League of Legends game. Do you think one of these big companies is going to hire me if I show this in my portfolio? Of course freaking not. They're going to see this and it's like, dude, everyone else could have done that. Everyone else could have used this as stylization filter and that's it. Now, is this a bad tool? Is this something that's not useful? Not at all. I could potentially take this like this texture right here and continue working with it, using it as a base, as a starting point. Remember we talked about the floor, and then push it to the next level. Same thing can be said about these things right here. If you want to learn how to draw in anime style, you can totally use ChatGPT and all of these AI tools to help you, but not to do the job for you. This is the laziness point I like to talk about. People are becoming very lazy in every single sense, in every single like thing in the world. And we need to understand that for things to really matter, there is a factor of effort. Now, I'm not saying that effort equals value, because that's not always the case. Sometimes, if you're really good or very talented, you might not need that much effort, and you're going to make something that's very, very cool, very, very valuable. But more often than not, hard work will be seen on the results that you deliver. This AI thing that has been happening, my friends, makes it very easy to see, hopefully everyone can see, the democratization effect of all of these technological tools. And I'm going to tell you, I'm a beneficiary of that. Everyone else who's watching here has benefited from this as well. Because, for instance, back in the day, if I wanted to be doing this, right, like streaming or doing YouTube stuff, it was very difficult. You needed a lot of different things. Now technology is relatively cheap that anyone can do it. If you want to upload a TikTok or if you want to upload shorts, you can do it. It's relatively easy to do because again, that floor has been lowered and lowered. But there's a very famous quote that I like from Gary Vee, and he says, "There's never going to be a surplus of quality stuff." So to me, when I see this, I see average stuff, right? Because yes, it looks cool, but now everyone has access to this. So if you want to be drawing anime style, if you want to be doing commissions or showing your style, you're going to have to go above and beyond what everyone else is doing as their new sort of like baseline. Does that make sense? Like this kind of pictures. Oh my God, I hate this kind of pictures right here. This like overly produced, like super extreme AI like elements, right? And I'm gonna be honest, unfortunately, these images and a lot of them, they look very nice. Like they look way better than a lot of the renders that I see out there, even in my own portfolio, like in everyone's portfolios. Like they look really, really nice. Trying to recreate this in 3D with every single effect will take a long time. And again, ChatGPT and Midjourney can do it in a couple of seconds. But what's next? What's next if everyone can do this? I remember this very famous quote from Syndrome, right? From The Incredibles that says, if everyone's a super, no one's a super, right? That's the same thing that I feel with this whole AI stuff. If everyone can produce these things, and I don't want to even imagine what's going to happen in the next couple of years, but if you can just like create a prompt and generate a full movie or a full video game, then like that particular type of video games and that particular type of movies and productions and products will be its own sort of like thing, and there's people that are going to consume it. I'm not going to deny it. Like there's going to be a market for that kind of stuff, but I guarantee the same way all of the other traditional tools in art and in other mediums have sort of like survived through the eras and through new technologies, there will be a market and there will be people doing things the traditional way or in a more personal and with a more personal and specific approach. Now, I did mention that I do find AI to be a powerful tool, and it's definitely going to be helpful. You can use AI to your advantage, and I saw an example, a great example. Someone was saying, hey, I want to do Studio Ghibli style. Well, don't ask ChatGPT to draw you a picture of a Studio Ghibli like style thing. Ask ChatGPT, what skills do I need to develop the necessary talent or the necessary tools to be able to draw in that style, and it's gonna tell you. And you could even say, hey, give me a 10-week plan on how I can get to a intermediate level drawing skills. Give me all the skills that I need to learn. Give me all the exercises I need to do. Give me all the tools I'm gonna need, like both physical and digital. Like you can ask ChatGPT those kind of things, and it could work as a coach that's gonna help you filter out a lot of information to really find the things that you need to learn. And you can apply this for absolutely everything, okay, guys? So AI can be a very powerful tool to help us be better as artists. But there's one thing I'm going to say, and I'm going to end the video with this. I do not want to imagine a world where ChatGPT or any other AI is the artist. It should always be the tool, the things that can help us push ourselves and our creations to the next level, our originality, what we offer, what we try to portray, or what we try to share with the world. We need to keep doing our effort. We need to keep learning and improving, right? And even though this is going to democratize everything and the entry level is going to be very, very low now, we need to push for those higher levels. Do not, and I strongly encourage you guys to do this. Do not fall prey to the easy mentality. Don't think that things are going to be easy or they're going to be fast or they're going to be simple. That's not how the world works. You need to really do the work. You need to really learn, to really put in the effort. And that's what's going to separate you from all of the other people that are not going to be doing that. So again, I mentioned, guys, that this was going to be a very weird video or difficult video, but it's one of those things that we cannot stop talking about. AI is not going anywhere. It's still going to be here. People are still going to be competing against us, people who like to do things in a more traditional way. We are going to be competing against people who do things with AI. So rather than antagonizing AI and thinking that it's the enemy, let's see how we can use it to our advantage to help us be better artists and to help generate things that are worth watching or that are worth, producing. So yeah, again, I know this is a controversial topic, but I would love to hear your comments and your opinions about this. There's, I don't think, a right or wrong thing to think about this. There's so many different variations. So feel free to share it here on the comments. And other than that, well, I'll be seeing you very soon for more 3D stuff here in the channel. So let's go. I'll see you in the next one, my friends.